Welcome to Rope Dropping Knowledge, where we guide you through the magic of Disney.
All right, we're back.
Barely.
Yeah, as you guys could tell, yeah, it's been a while, and it's man, we've been trying to do this podcast for probably the last 2 weeks, and well, stuff happens, man, when you get older. So, we'll be talking about our Disney mini vacation for Tracy's birthday. It happened at the beginning of April, but because of that birthday, Tracy got me sick again.
Yes, I brought a bug home from Disney, and I got sick.
Infected me, just like in January.
Then I gave it to
I
Brian.
swear, it's like I'm married to Oogie Boogie. You got every bug in the freaking city. It's weird because I thought, we thought it was just a cold and everything, and then Tracy got better, and then mine kept lingering. So I finally just went to urgent care, because I was working through it. I was whatever, and I thought I would, just get some cold medicine, or they're just gonna say,
Yeah, the same thing they said to me,
yeah,
right?
yeah, basically, and they're like, nope, you got bronchitis. You need a inhaler, and that's why I sound like this. This isn't auto tune. This is how I actually
I probably
sound
had the
right
same
now.
thing. Mine was horrible because my cold was better, but I kept coughing and I couldn't sleep at all. I coughed all night. My ribs are bruised from coughing. It still kind of hurts right now, but I couldn't sleep like for more than 20 minutes because I'd wake myself up coughing and then.
And I think the difference is that, yeah, we probably did have the same thing, but you did a virtual doctor's visit.
Yeah, and I got misdiagnosed.
Like most guys, I avoid the doctor unless I'm dying. So when it wasn't getting better, though, but when we do think that we need to see a doctor, I want to see him in person. I want to look them in the eye.
Well, I just didn't like the crowds.
Yeah.
If I'm coughing, I didn't want to be in public.
Yeah.
Because people will look at me weird. I have a cough attack, so I was like, "Oh, virtual visit," and nothing worked for me. I took Scissorp. It did not work. I was wide awake.
Yeah.
Scissorp doesn't do anything for me.
People don't know what Scissorp is, man. They're not listening to your 90s hip hop.
Scissorp is cough medicine that
codeine
has
cough.
codeine. Yeah,
Yeah.
the opioid stuff, but it doesn't do anything for me. So
Yeah. And she was prescribed it. No, she didn't get it on the street.
yeah.
I believe in Louisiana, in New Orleans, they call it lean. But yeah, it's she's not affected by any stuff, but she's the most afraid of taking any type of medication. It's the weirdest thing. So, but it doesn't seem to work anyway. So
Yeah, it doesn't work. So he's like, "Oh, you probably just have a sinus infection." And I'm like, "No, my nose is okay." He's like, "No, it's your sinus dripping, and then that's what makes you cough." He's like, "Whatever." So I got antibiotics and did feel better in 2 days.
And that's the funny thing about antibiotics is because, yeah, she felt better. I went into the doctor. I'm like, yeah, they said my wife had a nasal infection, but my symptoms seem to be different. And yeah, and I know just from common sense, like if you get antibiotics, you could still be misdiagnosed because antibiotics kills everything in your body. So they could say you have a nasal infection, and it could be a stomach infection. It could be something else, but antibiotics kills everything.
Yeah.
And they could still say I'm right.
Right.
I think that's what you had.
Yeah,
So,
I think I did have bronchitis because my coughing sounded horrible.
yeah. They gave me antibiotics too, but the bummer news is that we were supposed to be at Disney like right now,
Mm-hmm.
and so I guess we probably could have still went, but it's like we're not going to be like those other people who gave us sickness.
Yeah.
We're not going to go there and infect a bunch of people just because I can't go without a hot link corn dog. but yeah, so we will be delaying not delaying. We have another Disney trip planned on my birthday. We'll be there May 6th. It'll be a birthday weekend for me. We're going to see relatives on the 4th and the 5th, and then on the weekday on May 6th. Go to Disney. So it's going to stay at the Grand again. So we're saving some money. That's good this
Yeah.
weekend. And we'll be back. We have not quit Disney, unlike Hannah. I'm just joking. You go follow Learning the Magic, and she'll explain some things that she's making some changes on. But we can't wait to see her and the crew at Disney as soon as possible. But yeah, that's kind of been our story. You know, work and sickness has been the theme of 2024 for Rope Dropping Knowledge. But we are here, and we have another giveaway. And this time, you know, everyone starts snapping their fingers. We have, are they just called the Infinity Ears?
Yeah, it's called the Infinity Ears, which I guess is true. I think it more of Thanos ears because they're Thanos colors.
It's the gold
And
gauntlet
then it
color.
says, I am inevitable. And that's what Thanos
Yeah,
says.
it says, I am inevitable on the side.
Mm-hmm.
So, but, you know, Infinity Years, it sounds cool. We'll be ending this. You know, I always forget to put the date, but it's going to be
May
the first Saturday. Yeah, May the 4th. So when Marvel drops off and Star Wars takes over, we'll be ending it. 11:59 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And all you have to do is answer this question via Facebook or Instagram or info@ropedroppingknowledge.com. If you could spend the rest of your life, well, if you had to spend the rest of your life in a Disney-themed house, what theme would that be? So if it could be, you could just take an actual house from Disney, like the house from Up, where you're floating on balloons. It could be, it doesn't even have to be a house. It could be an Avengers Mansion, or it could be, you know, just take a theme from Disney and theme your particular house. What theme would it be? We just want to know the theme. You know, is it Tiana's Bayou theme? is it an Indiana Jones theme? Is it a Star Wars theme? Is it a particular house? Does it look like, you know, Star Destroyer? Does it look like Autotopia? Whatever theme you want, just let us know. And for every particular medium you use to answer your question, you get an additional entry. So if you use direct message from Facebook, that's 1 entry. Instagram, 2 entries. Our email, that's 3 entries. If you use all 3. Must be 18 years or older and live in the United States. All righty. So, yeah. So we were sick. Still kind of sick. But we had to get at least one podcast out for you guys in April. So we are suffering for you. Well, you're pretty much healed.
Yeah, I'm still coughing a little bit, but just
just
it's
yeah.
bad.
So Tracy did have a birthday. She's getting older. No.
Yes.
But yeah, let's start off. What do we do?
We stayed at the Grand for 2 days. So that was a nice treat to be at Disney 2 days in a row and stay on property. We haven't stayed at the Grand in a while. I think it was a year ago
Yeah,
in May for the splash thing.
podcast Mics for Magic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was a nice treat. I think we told you the story about it last time where we were supposed to stay at Pixar Hotel, but it was the concierge level or whatever it's called,
that we paid for.
the club level. But the club is not open, so it's like, okay, why pay for that? You know, when it's not open. So we switched to the Grand, which actually was cheaper.
Yep.
And
Even though that's the more technically the more
Yeah.
In quotes prestigious
because it's
hotel.
literally on property. You roll out of
Yeah.
bed, and that was really nice. On the second day, which was on my birthday, that we probably took naps throughout the day, not just once,
Yeah.
because like in between lightning lanes, like, oh, let's just go in the room because it's right there, you know, and just take a nap. And you know, we got the woods court area, which is like in the part where you could kind of see what's it called, grizzly.
Yeah. Kind of near where the room we had before.
Yeah. So that was nice. Like the entrance was right there. There's not a big line when you go in. Well, we're not rope droppers, so we don't know what it looks like during rope drop, but I'm thinking it's
We
not.
used to be rope droppers. How we got our name.
Yeah. So I'm thinking it's not as bad because somebody did stay at, and we talked about the Pixar hotel entrance before that we loved, but we always go during non-rope drop hours, but we saw pictures or videos of people going during rope drop at that entrance, and it was horrible. The line was like really long, like out to the street. So we don't really know if the grand entrance is like that during rope drop or Magic
I
Morning
think
or not.
everything
But
is pretty crowded for the hotels, but it doesn't matter.
it probably like the grand might be a little different. So, anyways, so that was really nice just to like roll out of bed and be in the park and then come back and take a shower
I think
later.
they have a fence. They must have a fence because, like, you could literally, if you're on the first floor, because you can't just. Well, I know they do have a fence because when you go down the secret entrance from
Yeah.
Pixar, but if they didn't have that fence, you could literally just jump into DCA. You know what I mean? Because,
You mean from the balcony?
yeah, from the balcony from your room.
Yeah, because remember that time when we saw Johnny and he just
Yeah.
said hi to us from our balcony?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you're on the first floor, you would just walk.
Yeah.
You know?
That's funny. Yeah, you don't even have to wait for the elevator.
I know.
But yeah, it was really nice. So I forgot what happened. It was so long ago, and I was sick in between. So the first day we just chilled a bit. Didn't even go over to Disneyland, did we? The first day,
I think did a little bit.
a little bit.
Yeah, but
Okay.
the most of the day was at DCA.
Yeah, the second day we did some Disney stuff, Disneyland stuff, and DCA. The Food and Wine Festival is still going on.
Yeah, it's still going on
So-
today. That
Yeah.
seemed like it lasts forever.
Yeah, this weekend. I think it's the last weekend.
Yeah.
Pixar Fest is going to start next
Mhm.
weekend. So, yeah, and then on my birthday we did Lamplight Lounge. Hannah was able to hook us up with make reservations for us for Lamplight Lounge on my birthday. So we'll talk about that during Taste Talk.
Yep.
And it was crowded because it was spring break. Even though it was a Monday and Tuesday, it was spring break, crowded, lots of kids. So probably the crowd didn't help, for me to catch the bug. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I think it was fun. We did a lot of stuff.
we do stuff we didn't normally do, like ride Maters,
Yeah, we did
Emotional
even-
Whirlwind,
we have-
Pixar.
Yeah, we
Pal
did all the
Around.
little stuff that we usually skip.
Yeah, like
So,
the non-lightning lane stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it was fun. And it was just it's kind of cool because when you stay at the Grand, it's just like, I know a lot of people don't like it. I know, well, who is it? Jordan and Dan.
Jordan and Dan don't like it.
Don't like it. I don't know why. I think it's great.
I think they think the theming is not. They love Disneyland Hotel because it's themed.
Yeah.
This is themed like the wilderness.
Yeah.
instead of Disney?
It's like the Sequoia Park.
Yeah,
type of-
we just like the proximity. I mean, you can't beat that. You
Yeah,
know,
right.
like, and the room's not bad. It's not like tiny or anything like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
So,
pretty good.
and everything's so convenient. Because you have the what is it called? The Grand California Grill or GCH Grill.
Yeah. You just
That
go
is
downstairs and
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and
Mm-hmm.
it's not that packed. You know,
the pool's nice.
the pool is nice. You have the bar too, and you have that other bar in case you just want to drink.
Everything's
or-
just really convenient.
yeah.
Whereas Disneyland Hotel has the same stuff as far as, just, bar and all that stuff. But
Restaurants,
it's like
yeah.
you can't just like roll out of bed and it's there.
Yeah, the park. You're in the park. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
you
no,
can
no.
take the monorail.
I mean, even the bars and restaurants are like,
Oh
you
yeah.
still got to walk across bridges. It's weird because it's like, I don't know. Like Disneyland Hotel is my least favorite of the three.
Mm-hmm. Same.
But different strokes for different folks.
Yep.
I came up with the term Afghanistan. because
I don't remember what that was about.
that's because that's when people are standing in line and they don't know how to actually scan their lightning lanes.
Oh,
and so
yes.
so it turns into a war zone.
Yes. Or they don't have it ready.
Yeah.
Remember I talked about that before. It's like you're
Or
all,
they're there and it's like it hasn't popped up yet for them.
right.
So it's just kind of like this rookie stuff, but it's weird because what happens is that it's kind of the same principle as the people who walk 4 abreast, and it's like you should only walk like at a maximum 2 abreast in anywhere in Disney,
For what?
like 4 abreast. So that
Oh.
means like 4 people standing next to each other,
Oh.
like walking,
Oh.
because it takes up so much real estate when you walk.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of how people line up if they have a family. So like you'll have a family which really only needs 1 scanner,
Yeah.
but you don't know if both scanners are being used because it's just
They're
a bunch
standing in front of the
of
other
but it's
scanner.
all one family.
Yeah.
Because they just are standing like they would, like they're waiting for the bus or something.
Yeah.
So it causes Afghanistan, and that, and in the park members, sometimes they only have 1 person to monitor the lightning lanes. So that person is helping the other person understand why their lightning lane hasn't come up. And everyone else just sees a crowd in front of them, so they're just patiently standing in line, which backs up the entire line.
Yeah.
You know.
When there's like 4 scanners actually.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
I'm always
you see that
afraid.
at Goofy Sky School. You'll see that at the Matterhorn.
Yeah.
You see that at
Space
Ra-
Mountain.
Space Mountain sometimes, because it's on an incline. It's a little, you can kind of have a better view. Sometimes at Radiator Springs, but usually they have multiple people there helping people, so they'll just try to work it through. But
Because that's an a la carte.
Yeah.
So, well, I'm always afraid to scan when they're not looking because I don't want them to think I'm
Accuse you.
cheating. And a lot of people go through scanning when it's not anything
yeah,
because they're not looking.
yeah,
So I don't want to be that, be like, oh, hey. But they don't look. They let people through that doesn't have a lightning lane. So I shouldn't be afraid to just scan.
yeah.
Yeah.
Afghanistan, and it'll happen to you at least twice per visit.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't like the walking because even with just us two, I'm always walking behind you because I don't want to be the one taking up space. I'm either walking behind
you
you or
want
in front
me-
of you.
you
I'm
want the
not
big
walking
person.
shoulder to shoulder with you.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and it's just it's not like a bad thing. It's just
Right.
people just do what's natural to them, and instead of what's magical.
Yeah.
Think magic, people. Think Tracy's
Disney's
authoritarian.
not a magical place. I mean, it's magical if no one's around.
It's
but-
magical if everyone's dead.
No, not dead. I meant it's meant to be magical, but because of crowds and, inexperienced people, things like that, it is a stressful place. Like I've said before, every time I'm there,
Freak
within
out.
the first 10 minutes, I ask myself why I subject myself to this torture. And then after 10 minutes, I'm like, all right, it's fine. It is stressful,
Yeah.
Uh,
I don't think it's that stressful. I think it's more it's more of just people just, not understanding what to do, but it's not even like big deal type of things. It's kind of like it's just navigating.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where Disney's actually a place where I calm down unless somebody I'm with is stressing out. Then I'll be like, all right. Because it's fun. There's really nowhere you can go where it's going to not be fun.
Yeah, for us, it's chill because we have magic keys and we can come back. But I'm just saying, when I hear people around me,
I think you're
stressing
just
out,
you're projecting what other people are feeling.
yeah,
Yeah, but it is what it's. And I think that's the more the people who are regulars help other people, the more pleasant it gets. So, because like you can just say,
yeah.
hey,
And like you said, if you don't have a to-do list, then you won't be stressed. You're just there to do whatever. Then it's just like,
to-do list is going to be stressing you out because you're not going to get to do. And if you accept that, it's all good. It's all good. But I think, that's the kind of the way it. And I think Disney's kind of well. Let me say, I would say that's the way it is with anything, but most major crowded events, let's say like a football game, you're going to see the football game. Once you find your seats, that's it.
Right.
It's not like we have a lightning lane for something else.
Right.
Like you got to go to another game. No, you're there, you sit there.
Yeah.
The only thing you have to worry about is bathroom breaks and getting up to get food.
Yeah.
Whereas Disney, you're constantly moving from station to station to station.
Yeah. You're trying to get things. Even if you don't have a to-do list, let's say you have lightning lanes. You just have to figure out, reserve this lightning lane, make sure you're back at this time, make sure you make the next lightning lane within this time. That's what I mean by
And I've kind of solved that for us, but it's like, I'll talk to you. Well, maybe we could just talk about it now. Because the way I navigate that, if you don't have Genie Plus, if you're like an anti-Genie Plus person, you're just going to have to have a chill personality. And I know lots of people who will never buy Genie Plus. And that's fine, but you got to be chill. Because that means like, not only can't you will not be able to have a to-do list, you just got to be there and just be accepting of the environment.
Yeah.
You know? And I think a lot of people can do that. You know, and they have a great time. You know, my friend AJ is kind of like that. He gets Genie Plus, I think, every other time. But yeah, they're just kind of chilling. You know, I don't think VNA and them get
No.
they don't get Genie Plus every time. So, but the way I have done it is you just got to hoard your lightning lanes. And what I mean by that is, if you get Genie Plus, I think what a lot of people do is if they don't have something planned, they just wait to get a lightning lane. Wait till they want to do something. So, for example, like people who go back to hotels to take naps, like you should still be getting a lightning lane for something every 2 hours.
Right.
And I think some people don't. What they'll do is they'll go back to the hotel, they'll sleep, and then they'll wake up and be like, oh, what do you want to do? Let's see what's available.
Yeah, nothing will be available.
Well, no, it's not even that. It's just that you wasted an opportunity to get a lightning lane.
Yeah.
Because especially now that you can modify it,
Yeah.
you can modify it to a different time. So even if you're out of commission for 4 hours, that's 2 lightning lanes. Even if you're not going to be in the park,
Yeah, just grab it.
You just grab something. And then if you can't make it back in time, you just change it to another ride or you modify the time. And then that way you can hoard. So when you're back in the park, theoretically, you could have 3 or 4 lightning lanes ready for you.
Yeah.
You know, and just to go and go boom, 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 boom. Even if you have the modify option on the lightning lanes is such an understated improvement that people don't even realize it. No one talks about it. And the things that I used to complain about you getting reservations and how a reservation makes me feel trapped. Reservation doesn't make me feel trapped anymore. Because if we have dinner time and we have a lightning lane, I just modify it or change it to another ride. And then after dinner or whatever, we still got 6 rides to go on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'll be at dinner. Oh, another 2 hours have gone by. Boom, I'll get another ride.
Yeah.
You know, to do something. And especially if you're staying on property, who cares if you're doing rides up until midnight?
Right.
That's fine.
Right.
You know, that's the benefit of staying on property. Even if you're not staying on property, you know, if as long as you got the energy to go back to wherever you are or drive home, then close out the night, do the whole thing. So hoarding lightning lanes is in the modification option now. It makes Genie Plus so much more worth it. And I haven't personally heard. I mean, I'm sure people have talked about it like when it came out, but doing that is such an advantage. You know, even like that should be something that all the you know, I guess what they're not called travel agents. What are they called now?
Travel planner.
Travel planners. Yeah,
Yeah.
That's the big hint they should be telling people.
Well, Hannah does post some tips about hoarding. You know,
Yeah.
lightning lane stacking. She calls it.
Yeah,
lightning
you
lanes.
want to stack them all, but I don't think people understand what it actually means. It means like even when you're not planning to go on a ride, still watch that. You should set timers to where your Apple Watch goes off every 120 minutes.
I think that's what we did the first day where you got Indiana Jones right away, even though it was 9 a.m, but it was for 6 p.m.
Yeah.
Because in 2 hours, get another one.
Yeah.
And from 9 till 2 hours, we went on those kiddie rides. You know.
But I think what sometimes people do, either they did what I said at the beginning is they go back and they don't have anything planned, so they don't.
Yeah.
Or they look at it and they're like, oh, there's nothing I want right now.
Yeah.
Who cares?
No.
Get
yeah.
anything.
Right.
Get freaking Astro Blasters. It doesn't matter because you're going to be able to modify it
Yeah.
and change it to something else. And on top of that, always keep checking because like Space Mountain, it might say the next available one is 10 o'clock. But if you keep checking, that's the ride you want to go on, an earlier ride will pop up.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll just
got
see it
lucky
like
once
boom,
and,
6
yeah,
and
it
it's like
popped up.
boom. We used to do that back in the annual pass days all the time with Radiator Springs Racers.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be like, nope, there's nothing until 9 o'clock or something. And then we'll keep checking and checking. Boom, 6 o'clock. And we'll just snatch it up. So you never know. Stacking and checking on Lightning Lane, that's the thing that I think it doubled the value of Genie Plus. Just that thing. I'm still not saying that Genie Plus is a perfect system. And I know that there's some people who will never, ever, they just think it's the devil on principle. That's fine. But there are ways to maximize it.
Yeah.
So, all right. What else? Disney news?
Disney news. So, anyways, I had a fun birthday. Thank you very much to my husband for treating me for 2 full days. Catching the
problem.
virus was worth it.
For you.
I do it again.
I know. You always like get stressed about Disney, but you can't wait to go again.
I know. I was like, man, I got sick. Was that worth it? Yes, I do it again. Bruise another rib. So, yes. Yeah, settlement reached in the lawsuit between DeSantis' allies and Disney. Gosh, that's such old news that I forgot. I don't think they released the details of the settlement.
Yeah,
so.
they kind of did.
They did?
It was kind of like, let's chill. It was basically, if that should be the headline. Nobody really got anything. Basically, the stuff that DeSantis was really upset about and embarrassed him, where Disney put in all these new rules right before his board took office, which was DeSantis' fault because if you have a board, they should be showing up to board meetings. All they had to do was have one member show up, and they wouldn't have been able to do it.
Right.
They said, well, we'll ignore that. We'll throw that out. But we're going to be able to negotiate stuff in the future. Some of the board members have left.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what it is Disney's just pretty much like, yeah, we can negotiate on all new stuff. And I think Disney realizes that DeSantis is out of there in 2027.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, look, if you just leave us alone for the next 3 years and you're going to be gone, we'll be back to business as usual anyway.
Yeah.
So we're not going to make a big deal if you don't make a big deal. But, it's kind of like, and I don't want to compare it to real war because there are real wars going on.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like what's going on with Israel and Iran. It's kind of like they're doing this tit for tat thing because of they can't look. Like Iran had to send all these drones because Israel attacked their base, not their base, but their embassy, which is sovereign ground in Syria. And so they have to do something, but they were telegraphing it so much that all their drones were shot down. It's not like Iran wanted a war because they don't want the kind of smoke that all Israel's allies can bring on them. But it's at the same time, you can't make us look like a punk.
You can't do nothing. Right.
It's basically, you would think that high school politics would end in high school, and now it's at like an international level. It's at gubernatorial levels. It's stupid like how the most powerful people on earth still act like children. But that's really what we're living under. So whether it's on a state level or an international level, that's what we're dealing with, folks. And so, yeah, DeSantis is like, stop embarrassing me, and I won't say anything else about you being woke. And Disney's like, just let us do business, and then we'll just negotiate everything else once you're out of office.
Yeah.
And that was pretty much the settlement. And as far as the appeal, because, Disney's one thing got kicked out, we'll hold off on the appeal as long as you keep your mouth shut about us and let us do business. That was the settlement. So they kind of both are just kind of chilling, So it's like, let's chill. That's basically the headline for the settlement.
Chill.
Yeah, chill out, So, yeah, that's where we are. It's kind of where pretty much, we all knew it was going to be. It's not like you can really get a lot out of. They're not going to like overthrow the Florida government or something, and it's not like the Florida government's going to get rid of their largest employer, and Disney isn't in no place to shut down Disney World, so they were going to have to come to this at some point.
Yeah. We
But
kind of knew they would settle.
yeah, well, or if it was just going to be something that's going to be nothing, right? And that's kind of where we are. DeSantis did most of this stuff so he could get clout to run for president. And I already said that's a wasted effort. You're not going to be the Republican nominee. It's just not going to happen. So here we are. There we were. And nothing's changed.
Same old,
Same old, same old. All right.
Let's see. So, I did learn a new word. We learned a new word during the last visit was the word impacted
Yeah.
in terms of lightning lane. So when when lightning lane line is way too long, the cast members will say we're impacted, which means that they will let in
But
less.
But they actually gave numbers.
Yes,
So,
it's usually 1 to 10 or 1 to 20.
well, I think it was like 5-1.
That's when they're impacted.
No, 10-1 is when they're impacted. So the more,
No, it's 10 standby to 1. Oh,
no.
Is that what it means?
No. It's
Oh.
always more lightning lane than
oh, I
standby.
see.
So when the lightning lane is impacted, so it's usually a 5-1 ratio. It's
Mhm.
just normal.
Which means 5 lightning lanes in,
to 1.
1 standby.
Yeah.
Okay,
Once they say it's impacted, it goes to 10-1, and it could even go up to 20-1.
21. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So and what they do is like the person at the back will yell out, "We're impacted,"
Yeah.
and nobody knows what that means.
Right.
But they
But
actually
now
explained
we
it.
do. Yeah.
And so I'm like, all right, I'm going to start yelling out, impacted.
Just randomly.
Just randomly. Not when I'm in standby, but when I'm in lightning lane, I'll be like, it's impacted. Even if we're the only people in it. It's impacted. We get to go twice.
But yes, that's what we learned when we were there.
Yep. Just like the teeth, my wisdom teeth that I'm going to have to get extracted. It's impacted.
Mine too.
I know.
Oh yeah, Autopia is going electric, which is like finally. I know Disney's kind of slow when it comes to being on top of technology.
They're
But-
kind of not, but it's like I think they're just anytime there's an infrastructure change, it takes a lot to do it.
It does, yeah. I mean, that ride does,
But it's gonna save
Kinda.
them. It's gonna save them money in the long run.
yeah.
I think the funny thing is that how can I put this? It's like it's kind of a commitment that Autotopia is always going to be there
Right.
because if they're going to put all this money into changing it, that means it's not going anywhere anytime
And it's a
soon.
good ride to get people out of the way, like in line.
Yeah.
And you may think it has lightning lane, and you may think, "Oh, who wants to waste a lightning lane on Autopia?" But Carrie and I went once at night, like at 11 o'clock at night, and there was a big line. We thought, oh, let's go on Autopia since nobody's there. But no, there was a big line. So we're like, oh, never mind. Let's just.
The funny
you
thing
know.
is I'm wondering if they're going to do that because the trams are gas.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yes.
Well, they're natural gas, not
Yeah.
like gas, but
Mhm.
yeah. And I wonder if they're going to change that because I think it would be just convenience, like just charge it.
Yeah.
You know, they charge them overnight or they rotate them out and they do a charge. Because and I wonder, I think Radiator Springs Racers is that electric or gas? I can't tell because they have a lot of artificial sounds. It
Mhm.
sounds like it's gas because they want
Right. Because of the.
But I'm just wondering if some of these rides could be faster because like in a Tesla, they're super fast
Yeah.
with a lithium battery powered. So I wonder if Autotopia is faster and smoother instead of that. I wonder if it's going to be like a better ride.
Hmm.
I don't know. That's because I bet you a lot of people would go on it if it was faster. And I know there's a lot of safety issues they got to do it, but it's on a track, so it's like not like
Hmm.
We'll see. But you can't hit other people because if someone else stops, so maybe that's.
I
the
wonder if this
reason.
is related to, because I haven't dot points, but I'll bring it up now that Test Track has a closing date announced, and the concept art is revealed at Disney World. they released new concept art for Test Track Reimagining and announced the Epcot attraction will close this summer.
Mhm.
So I'm wondering if that's also going
Maybe.
electric or
Maybe.
something, or if it's not electric now. But Test Track is similar to Radiator Springs, except the theming is
Yeah.
different.
Hmm.
So, anyways,
I don't know. See, that was an opportunity for Elon to partner with Disney. He could have made
know.
all these Tesla stuff, but he has to go off and spout his mouth off on Twitter now. now, no, now,
no
he's-
one wants
now all
it.
his Tesla stock is crashing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's. It's
Isn't
not,
that good
it's
for
not good.
consumers? It makes the Teslas cheaper. I don't know.
What's good for consumers? Well, it's good in the sense that the market share from other companies, competition has now is going to catch up quicker.
Mm-hmm.
So all these other EVs are going to catch up, especially now that they're going to be introducing the Tesla chargers, the Tesla ports in new cars
Mhm.
that are not Teslas.
Oh, yeah.
So the other cars can use Tesla charging ports. That's
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So I don't think Teslas are going to be like special anymore.
Yeah.
Especially when you look at the cars like Ioniq and the stuff that like BMW has
Mhm.
and other stuff. Like I was looking at the Chevy Volt. It's like $20-something thousand.
Yeah, that's always been popular, even
Yeah,
like competing with the Prius back in the day.
because I think a lot of people like even when I had my Tesla, I was never like, ooh, my car's it's such a cool car. I mean, it's cool. I do think it's a cool car, but it was never like I was comparing it. There's these people who are just so in love with gas cars, and they think that electric cars sometimes threaten their identity or something because they're really fast, and
Yeah.
it's like, no, man, my Charger is still going to be, it's like, dude, it's not. It's two different
Yeah, apples
populations.
and oranges. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, basically, you get an electric car so you can easily commute.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, electric cars are basically more problematic on long drives. Yeah, I
Mhm.
mean, as an electric car owner, I'm like, yeah, I would take. We have one gas, we have one electric,
Mm-hmm.
and we take the gas longer, and
Mm-hmm.
we drive the electric around town.
Mm-hmm.
And I drive the electric to LA and stuff. It's not a big deal, but it's just a matter of convenience.
Yeah.
And electric's going to become more convenient, but we're not saying that, if you want to be a car guy, keep it yourself. It's not going to take away your tuner options or your, gas, you could still smell like oil if you want.
You could still hear the sound.
It's an appliance. It's the same thing as getting an iPhone. Everyone's
Yeah.
like, how do you like having an iPhone on wheels? I'm like, yeah, I have an iPhone. I like, yeah, it's great. It's awesome. But innovations are coming with all types of cars, and it's going to be a great thing, especially when they start partnering with other companies.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it is kind of the future. Toyota's still kind of stuck on hydrogen, but right now there's only like a 100 or a couple hundred hydrogen stations in the United States. So
Oh, I didn't even know there was.
yeah, they do have a hydrogen prototype that can go up to 1,000 miles on a full tank of hydrogen. So
Wow.
that's pretty cool, but we'll see. I don't know how we got off on that, but Autotopia.
Oh, because Autotopia. Is so
Yeah. And yeah.
Guess that's it for headlines. I have a
Really?
long taste talk though, so
All right. What about the dining times? You want to talk about that?
that's more a dot point, but because yeah, I guess. I mean, yes. If you notice, the Disneyland app now has dining wait times. So right now it just has, or before it was just wait times for rides and attractions. If you click on the pull down and change attractions to dining, you will see wait times at restaurants, certain sit down restaurants. So that'll help you determine if you want to walk up there and join the mobile wait list. The join you have to be nearby to join the
Yeah.
wait list on the app, but then it'll, like, if you're at DCA and you want to go to Carnation, you can just look and see, oh, how long's the wait, and if it's only 15 minutes, then you can walk over and join the list instead of walking all the way over and then realizing it's 45 minutes.
But see,
Yeah.
those are the tiny things that, and again, maybe I'm too much into tech, but those are the tiny things, just like the lightning lane modification option now.
Mm-hmm.
These are the tiny things that do make a difference in
Yeah.
actually people's stays. It's these little tweaks that no one talks about while we're complaining
Yeah,
about.
nobody talked about this. I
Yeah.
thought, I don't know, maybe I was sick and I wasn't checking social media, but I was just, you know how I randomly
Yeah.
check wait times when I'm at home missing Disney.
Like wait
and I'm
time,
like,
wait times
what's
for
this?
dining. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Like I don't have to walk across two parks to see if light.
Yeah, because sometimes you're like, oh, check and see if Carthage's available.
Yeah.
And then we'll walk all the way there. I mean, I'll try to join the list, but then it says you're too far away. And then we'll walk all the way there and it'll say, oh, just kidding. You know, we cut off the list. But
Yeah.
now we could just check without walking all the way over there.
Yeah. That's brilliant.
And if it's 45 minutes, fine. We'll go get a beer while we wait, while we
Yeah.
join the list. You know, it's whatever.
Exactly. It helps you plan. Anything that helps you be more tactical in your approach to Disney is better.
Yeah.
Because we talked about at the beginning of the podcast the stress that crowds can cause.
Mm-hmm.
So anything that helps you be more tactical, or other people and the people around you to be more tactical, is an improvement.
Yeah.
And so I think Disney sees that. So I know we always have criticisms of Disney because it's kind of like, again, it's like your family, right? I was talking and I'm gonna go off. I don't try not to go off on another tangent,
Mm-hmm.
but I was telling someone about how they have diversity and inclusion programs in different offices, all workplaces now, right? People are criticizing some of them, and some people think they're really the best thing in the world. Some people are just like, does this mean quotas? Does this mean that? In HR, obviously, I'm heavily involved in implementation and some of these things and knowing what they are. As far as D&I programs, I think that they are good. But the problem is they're new, so most of them are implemented very poorly, and I think that's the problem now. But like anything new, it gets off to a rough start, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I was talking about is that one of the things that's not included when you talk about, because I was on a subcommittee for diversity and hiring, and one of the things that stands out is that there's a lot of bias I should say against people who are actually already your employees. So external hires actually have an advantage over your internal employees, right?
That's always the case.
And the reason I'm talking about this is because it's why we, Disney podcasts like ours criticize Disney so much. Because what ends up happening is that we know Disney.
Mm-hmm.
When you are an internal hire, you sometimes, and people of you who are in the workplace, and somebody gets hired over you from that's never worked for your company, is because everyone knows your dirt. No, I mean seriously, like,
right.
like they have access to all your performance value. You could be the most loyal employee for that company.
But that could also be a advantage for you.
You would think it would be an advantage. I think most people think it's an advantage, but think about it. When you apply for a company, nobody's applying and putting on their resume, I was written up in 2019 for this. No, it's all their shining achievements.
Yeah, yes.
You look perfect.
Right.
External candidates are only presenting their best face to you. And by the way, it's against the law to for your former employer to say of any disciplinary actions against you or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
They can only give you your
Say,
title.
yes, I worked here.
Yes, you worked here. Sometimes they can say your duties and this was your title.
Mm-hmm.
And you worked here from this time to this time.
Mm-hmm.
That's really all they can do. So even if you were fired, they can't say that.
Right.
Some people do, and they get sued. But so when you get, external candidates look like Prince Charming, and everyone else looks like the evil queen in her old stuff, because even though your internal applicant probably can do the job, knows your company, has all these advantages, this person was written up, or she doesn't get along with so and so, or he doesn't get along with this person, and he was he used to be union and he had some criticisms of our old CEO or whatever. So all the stuff, all your bad spots are known by the hiring managers in your place. And so it becomes a disadvantage, which to me should be looked at, even though it's not a Title VII type diversity issue, it's a diversity issue of like how loyal to you are you to the people that you actually have.
Yeah.
And in that actually, because D&I is supposed to have a big impact on culture, But if the people who are currently working with you don't feel that they're rewarded for their efforts, and they don't have upward mobility in your corporation, your organization, your culture is going to be sour regardless of who you hire.
Mm-hmm.
And we criticize Disney because Disney, that's like our internal hire.
Yeah.
They're part of our
We
family.
have something to compare to.
Yeah. But of course, I could look at some theme park or something I've never been to and be like, why doesn't Disney do that? That place is doing great. Look at what they're
What is
doing.
it called? The VIP pass at the
Yeah.
Universal? That's only $300.
Yeah, exactly. But since I don't go to Universal, I don't know all their warts.
Yeah.
I don't know all their bad stuff. So, it's very easy to do that. But I think, yes, when Disney does something good, like give us wait times for restaurants on an app, which makes it more strategic and tactical for people, not just me, but for everyone around me to get what they want out of their experience, we should give them credit. And I know it takes more effort because it's harder to give credit than it is to give criticism.
Yeah. And I'm sure somebody will criticize it.
Yeah.
That's what I forgot. The one big thing that came. Now, this is taking away something, but it's because of certain things, is the DOS program. It's not like it's taking away, but it changed. It's more restrictive now. But that's only because of people abusing it.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's like, we don't know what it is. It's just on its face, it looks like it's more restrictive because it says it's only for, I think, mental disabilities, and they put such as or whatever.
They don't
Not
use
physical
mental-
disabilities.
It didn't say mental disabilities.
I meant not physical disabilities.
It's for people who just cannot wait in line, and I
think
forget
the
what
exact
the terminology
word
was.
is. I have it here, but it's because there's a lot of influencers who like made videos saying, "Oh, look, I got through the loophole," and
yeah, that they were abusing the
and
system.
Disney does look. I mean, I just shared a story about Ariel, and they looked at our story.
Who, Disney did?
Disney Plus did because I shared their Daddy, I love this story, and they did watch the story.
Yeah, that's funny.
Let me see here. What was the language? The new language? Oh,
I don't
here.
know. Well, they really only changed one thing. They just put the word only in.
Only but it was, I want to see the exact.
Yeah, but anyway, it was basically because yes, people were abusing the system, and so that's again, and I have to say this at my job all the time. You always have to make rules based on your worst employee. Stop thinking of your best employees and making rules.
It's intended to accommodate only those guests who, due to developmental disability like autism or similar, are unable to wait in a conventional queue for an extended period of time. So before it didn't have the only word and accommodate, such as, I think the autism or similar was used as an example, but now it's developmental disability, only developmental disability like autism or similar.
Yeah. Right.
So
if you have a broken leg, that doesn't count. It's,
right, it never counted.
Yeah. Well, it never supposed to have counted.
Yeah.
Right.
But I think it's like for people who have certain illnesses.
Well, we know what it is,
you
but
know.
I'm just saying it's.
It excludes certain people who.
But there were some people who had other disabilities
Yes.
that were allowed to use the system.
Yes.
And they had legit disabilities.
Right.
The problem is that there were people who had no disabilities whatsoever,
Right.
who were taking advantage of the system and then bragging about it.
Right.
And which caused other people to do it. And now that would make the system almost a non-thing.
Yeah, like the prime
Because-
example is people with autoimmune diseases who cannot catch. Like if they caught a little cold like me, it's like detrimental to their health. And so
They
they were
could
able to
die.
use DOS
Yeah.
because they can't stand
Mm-hmm.
in queues. So those are the people who are worried now, like, oh my gosh, I don't qualify anymore because my disability
Which
is
is a
not.
legit worry,
Yeah.
to me. And so, and again, somebody who's coming from HR, it's like, I would accommodate that at work, but because Disney is a very physical place where you have to it's either yes or no.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like they can redesign a ride based on certain things or redesign queues. They can, but it wouldn't accommodate everyone.
Right.
Um,
But we don't know because it's an interview process, right? We know that. So they could if you.
I mean, I just want to be very careful because we're not experts
Right.
on the DOS system.
Right.
So I don't want to start saying, well, this is, that and this.
No, that's just a concern for the people who used to be able to get it. They're just concerned that they don't, but we don't know if they don't get it anymore because
Right.
they do interview you each time, and it lasts like 90 days, and they changed it to 120 now. So each time you apply, you go on a trip, you apply for it, and it's good for 120 days. And it's an interview process through Zoom or something like that. So it depends on the cast member who's interviewing you.
Yeah, I don't know.
so
I don't know
all
what
that
their
stuff.
criteria is. It's basically similar to what we would call in HR the interactive process when you're looking at an accommodation.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like you give them information, you can say what we can do, is this acceptable, and but yeah, I think it's unfortunate in the sense that there are so many people taking advantage of a system. It's kind of like using someone else's disabled parking placard.
Yeah.
It's just like, well, they could now. The reason that hasn't been done away with is because that's spread out over all of society.
Right.
But if you're one park, or two parks, theoretically, that's going to be quote impactful, right?
Right.
It's going
exactly.
to be because if 100 people a day take advantage of it, that's a big deal.
Right.
1,000 people is a huge deal.
Yes.
So, and who does it hurt? It hurts the people who actually need it.
Yeah.
And it's not good all around.
I think the other change was also the number of guests you can have with you. So before it was, I don't know, 6, whatever. It's now 4. Whatever it was before, it was more. So that's the other change. But the
and I
big
think some
one
people
is,
were concerned about HIPAA too.
oh yeah,
And
they're not
they
supposed
don't
to
understand.
ask. Yeah.
But it's kind of like, it's like, again, it's from an HR stand. This isn't HR, but technically, it's a weird it's a gray area because asking somebody if they have a disability is that HIPAA. HIPAA actually prevents your employer or anybody who has custody over your private information from disclosing it. That's really the spirit and the law of the HIPAA.
Mm-hmm.
Asking somebody if they have a disability is not a violation of HIPAA, technically, unless they're your employer, right? And even then, it's a gray area because they're not asking what your disability is.
They're asking why you
Why-
need accommodations, right?
Right.
Or-
So in a workplace, what I usually recommend is if somebody has this, the way you would go about, like if somebody's being late, even if somebody's being late to work or somebody's being slow on something, I always say, hey, you can word a question like this, or somebody's falling asleep, because there's people who fall asleep at their desks and stuff. It's not always somebody who's lazy. There could be somebody with a
Yeah.
condition, somebody who's taking medication. It could be
Right.
a lot of things. Are there any? You ask, are there any accommodations that Do you have a provider that has given you any accommodations that we need to be aware of? That is a perfectly legal question, right? Or do you need any accommodations? You could
Yeah.
ask that.
Mhm.
So, because that question could just be like yes or no, yes or no. And if the answer is yes, then what you do then is say, okay, if you don't have anything on file, you say, well, could you have your provider, list any accommodations and in the length of period which you need these accommodations so it can be considered. Bringing in a note saying you need accommodation doesn't mean it's automatically going to be approved because under law it has to be reasonable within the scope of that organization's ability
Yeah.
to grant that accommodation. And actually what let's call it is a work restriction. That's actually what you would call it. The accommodation would be something to address the work restriction, but that's just, getting into semantics. And that's totally legal. So I don't know what the interview process is, but it makes
Yeah,
me
me
even more angry that people would go into an interview process and lie. and say, yes, I
Oh,
do
the
have.
people who got the
Because if you
thing.
have the DOS and you're abusing it on social media, that
You
means
must
you
have-
were interviewed.
Yes.
You see what I
Yes.
mean? It's not like the buddy pass system where like you have, you know what I mean? Where you
Yeah.
could just go at the line and ask and take advantage of that. To me, okay. But somebody going into an actual interview and saying, yes, I have a disability when I actually don't, is to me is just so foul. You know, that's beyond foul. And then to brag about it means that's almost sociopathic, in my opinion. But I don't know if I'm,
Yeah, but we just watched the video on the things people are willing to do to get clout.
I know, but it's not even that. It's like because I don't. If somebody dies getting clout because they're climbing Mount Everest, at least as long as no one else dies, that's kind of a dumb decision, right? But when you're taking something away from other people who need it, that's like, you know.
Yeah, I don't think they thought about it that way.
Well, yeah, that's the sociopathy of it, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know, but that's a little bit dark. Let's go.
It's Taste Talk with Tracy. Mash some magic in your mouth.
Yay. Lamplight Lounge. You know, we love that place. I love that place, but, you know, it's really hard to get a reservation there. But now that we have wait times, we can always join the walk-up list. So we had that on my birthday, on my actual birthday. Brian had the surf and a little bit of turf. No, the turf and a little bit of surf. That's what you
Right.
had. And that's an item that's limited for Food and Wine Festival only. And it's a filet mignon steak with cauliflower puree, soy glazed potatoes, grilled asparagus, mushrooms, with a black garlic red wine reduction. And the little bit of surf is a side of shrimp toast.
Yeah,
It's basically toast with like a shrimp spread
yeah.
or
Well, a little
paste on
piece
it.
of shrimp.
Yeah, and it did remind me of something my mom used to make, which is her toast with the shrimp that she baked. And I told that guy, and he's like, "Actually, yeah, that's what we were kind of going for." I told our server that. But yeah, what did you think about it?
That was good. It was really good. I was surprised because theme park steaks hit or miss, but it was really
Yeah, especially when we just had like
It was. I got it medium rare, but I was gonna say it was really well done. But no, I got it medium rare, but it was delivered properly.
Oh.
They prepared it very well.
yeah, especially if we had steak that Sunday before. We had Korean barbecue, but not the all-you-can-eat kind, the kind where it's just
Yeah, the better.
So it
kind.
was really good. So we were like, oh, what about steak at Disney? Let's see.
Yeah,
you know.
I don't think we've ever gotten steak at Disney. Well, maybe with the there was one dining package I think we did.
Yeah, when it was Ariel's Grotto,
Yeah.
it was actually surf and turf. It was steak and lobster tails or something.
Yeah.
That was so good.
Yeah.
And I got, of course, the lobster nachos. Always have to get lobster nachos when you go there,
Yeah.
and that was good.
And it was weird because now they're huge. So they used to be huge when we used to get them on the deck bar,
Uh-huh.
and back when it was Ariel's Grotto,
Mm-hmm.
and then it shrunk, like after the pandemic.
The plate shrunk,
Yeah.
but the lobster also shrunk. They used
Yeah.
Langostino lobsters instead of real lobsters.
And then now it's grown back to its original size.
Yeah, and now they're actual lobster pieces, not Langostino lobsters.
So mine, I'd probably give an 8 out of 10, maybe even an 8.5. It was really good.
Yeah, 8 out of 10 for lobster nachos for me too.
Yeah, very good.
And so for our drinks, figured we get something on the secret menu, which was the Dole Whip Shooter. There's also the Dole Whip cocktail, but we figured we'll get the shooter, thinking maybe it'll be a little stronger. But it was okay. It was coconut rum, vanilla vodka, pineapple juice, and a shot of whipped cream. So it basically does taste like a Dole Whip float. It's a little shooter. So we got one of those. And
I thought it was good.
Yeah, it was good. And then we each had a shot of Patron as well. And then for our actual main cocktail, you had Final with a Fix. And that's on the menu. That's tequila, raspberry liqueur, lime juice, agave nectar, and some other stuff that I can't pronounce.
That was very good as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's on the menu. And then I contacted our travel planner, Hannah, and I was like, remember that secret menu you posted? Can you send it to me? Because I want to just try another thing on the secret menu. So she did. She texted me back right away. See, she's your little personal concierge. And so I got the Black Pearl from the secret menu, which is vodka, light rum, gin, chambar, triple sec, sweet and sour, and Sprite. And it was good.
So
It's basically like a Long Island iced tea.
yeah, yeah. I thought pretty much everything we had there was a hit.
Yeah,
So
we
pretty
had a
happy.
great time. And our server, I forgot his name, but he was cool.
Definitely, it is really cool. I thought I wrote it down somewhere, but I'll find them.
Yeah, and if you sit there long enough, we didn't want to sit there too long. We wanted to be out and about. If your reservation's closer to World of Color and you sit there long enough, you could sit there while World of Color is playing.
Yeah, but we weren't outside. We sat inside.
Yeah, we were kind of inside-ish.
Yeah,
So
it's pretty good. All right.
So there's going to be 3 new restaurants opening in May at Downtown Disney, and actually one had a soft opening today. It's called Paseo, Centrico, and Tiendita. I don't know. There are 3 Mexican restaurants, but today Centrico opened, soft opening, and I saw some people going there. And Centrico is basically that outside bar that used to be the Uber bar. So, food, cocktails, except it's Mexican themed now. And it's Mexico's first Michelin-starred chef, Carlos Gaitan, is bringing authentic Mexican fare to Downtown Disney.
Cool. I always like changes. Well, not changes, but like we need to get rid of stuff. But it's more like
Yeah, these
like-
are replacing
I
the.
like
those
I always
restaurants.
like new stuff that's coming to Downtown Disney.
Yeah, so
Because
Catal.
I just think it needs to be
gone.
shaken up once in a while.
Yeah. But that leaves me to wonder because so the other news was that Disneyland Forward got approved for the next approval. I think there's one more approval in May.
Yeah.
So now I'm just wondering and I heard that it's the Simba lot that's going to be expanding to something.
Yeah.
But that's attached to that's the Downtown Disney parking lot. So I don't know. I don't know what that is. I don't know what they're going to do with that. I mean, that's the lot.
It
That's
depends. Yeah, I don't when they talk
'Cause if
about
it's-
Disney Forward, there was like all these plans, and I don't know if that was just a hypothetical, or is it that's the
Yeah.
actual?
No, that's Disneyland Forward just means
Because they had
Expansion.
that one new land,
Yeah.
and everything, which was over by the bridge, because it connected to Disneyland, and so
Yeah.
it was there was some.
So
there was a
that's
lot of
the
different
Simba.
stuff.
right.
No,
Oh,
no. That's on the other side because you got to if you look at it if you look at Downtown Disney as a straight line
mm-hmm.
all the way from the Disneyland Hotel gate all the way to the harbor entrance,
Mhm.
right? That's a straight line and that cuts on either side. One side is going to be the Grand Californian and DCA, and one side is going to be Disneyland,
Mm-hmm.
right? And the bridge and the parking structures. So the new land was supposed to be on the side of Disneyland. It was connecting to Disneyland. So I don't know what they were going to do there, and if that's still a go. I don't know what they were going to do with the Simba lot because the Simba
Yeah.
lot's on the other side.
That's the lot they got the permit to build or whatever. But I thought if they're building a land there, how does it connect to the parks?
It could only connect to DCA, unless
It
it's
does?
unless it's a new gate, a whole new park.
Oh, I see. No, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I thought maybe, okay, they'll put restaurants there and make Downtown Disney an expanded park. But
They could do that.
but then what about all these new restaurants like Din Tai Fung and everything that's like basically almost
That's
done?
probably going to go over that new area off of Harbor.
But they just built it.
I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know.
They can still
Whatever.
move stuff around.
Yeah. But yeah, that was the other news. We already talked about Test Track, and then I guess this is old news. D23 ticket sales. It's all sold out, but I think the pre-sales were sold out within minutes.
Yeah.
I heard, and a lot of people couldn't get tickets. The only thing that was left over after the pre-sale was like the 3-day package that was like $2,000 or something.
Yeah.
So I heard that was sounding crazy, but this is the first year that D23 expanded to the Honda Center, where that's going to be their Exhibit H. If those of you who don't know,
Yeah.
Hall H is like a Comic-Con thing where
that's
that's
where
where
all
all the
their big-
celebrities are. And
Anything that's huge in nerd media, Avengers, Game of Thrones, Star Wars would be in a Hall H.
Mhm.
And then the Hall H of quote unquote D23 will be at the Honda Center now.
Mhm.
So some big announcements will be there. But they better, if they're going to have the Honda Center, there better be some big announcements because that's not
I
even,
know.
that's not even close.
They can't be
to the
like,
convention
oh,
center.
we're getting a new character. Here's Hulk, or here's Figment. That's what they've been doing.
Yeah.
right? They're big
Hulk would be a
announcements.
big announcement if there was a new Hulk movie, but it's like,
No, it was a
No.
character. They used it.
yeah,
These
it can't be
past-
a new popcorn bucket, right? It better be something big if you're going to get Hall H.
Yeah.
Because for one, that's not cheap.
Right.
I mean, the Honda Center is literally Hall H. It's a
Yeah.
big H in front. But it's if you're gonna do that, for one, just it costs a lot of money for Disney to do that. But two, it's inconvenient for people because the convention that's miles from the
Yeah.
convention
Well,
center.
the ticket charges are separate too,
Yeah.
because getting a ticket for that one day would include that.
Mhm.
That's why the $2,000 package includes a seat in the Honda Center.
Yeah, they better be announcing some crazy stuff there.
They have
So
some concerts going.
yeah,
Performances
or
going on in
they
there.
better do something, because the expectations are going to be high, especially for the people who paid that premium, and not only that aren't where the meat of the festival is, which is at the convention center. Because if I'm
Yeah.
not going to be where everyone is at, I better be where something else is just as
Yeah.
big or bigger. So
Yeah, I think the convention center now is basically the exhibit hall, which is merch and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So, yeah, we our cousin did text us like, "Hey, it's pre-sale. Are you going?" And we were like, "You asked me," and I'm like, "Nah, it's okay."
catch on YouTube. All right, is that it?
That's it.
All right. So yeah, we're sorry. We missed you guys. We just wanted to get back in the groove. At least try to. We're both medicated, so any slip of the tongues, any political rants or anything, I apologize for. Any wrong terminology or anything, forgive us.
Yes.
We are on drugs. So literally. So but we still wanted to make sure that the giveaway was done. And that's pretty much it for today. We will be back soon. We won't take as long a break as we have before.
I'll try
And
not to.
yes, and we will be back at Disney for my birthday. So everyone rest up. We'll rest up and stay magical. I'm
Bye.
Brian.
I'm Tracy.
See, I even messed that up. Messed the part difficult.
Yeah, and then I was.
Yeah.
You usually say "stay magical" last.
Stay magical, people. Love
Bye.
you. Bye.
Thank you for listening. Be sure to like and subscribe and visit us at www.ropedroppingknowledge.com.